Good morning. It is 2:24 in the morning on March 29th. We are well underway. I've been at it for about 2 hours. I got started a little after midnight, just short of 12:30, and was up in Folsom, was busy, which pretty much why I didn't get on at that point in time, and I finally got a break now after dropping off at the airport for my first reservation this morning. I have another one at 3:45, and then a couple more after that. But we are well underway and making money right now, and it's been good. Been pretty decent so far. Other than that, like I said, I have reservations. We're going to try to fill the time in between the reservations and do all that. Plus, talk a little bit about Mystro. I'm not running Mystro right now only because I have the reservations and I don't want to have Mystro take me out to some places where I don't want to go. So I'm going to leave it off for this morning. But I do want to talk about Mystro versus GigU and talk a little bit about comparing those two platforms and how they differ mostly, and what they do a little bit the same, but mostly the differences and the benefits of one versus the other. So we'll talk a little bit about that as the morning unfolds. My primary focus today, though, right now, is going to be taking care of the reservations, which I can show you what I have here. This is one right there. There's one. So here's my reservations for this morning at 3:45, 5:15, 6:10, and then that's it so far. I'll probably get some more that fill in, because usually what happens is drivers either cancel or they're not available or whatever happens, and then I get other reservations in there, but I'm sure there'll be some other stuff that comes in. And if not, I'll probably call it a day after the 6:10 drop off at the airport, mainly because it kind of gets slow from about 6:30 till 8. There's really not much going on. Most people are heading to the airport early to catch the early flights, and then it kind of dies out at that point in time, and there's no real good arrival activity at the airport until 7:30ish about. And there's already like cars parked in the queue lot, which I'm assuming they must just sleep there. Drivers just must camp out at the queue lot, because there's no activity at the airport right now as far as arrivals, so I don't know why you would be sitting there, but there was quite a few cars there. But anyway, that's my plan for today. Bang out these reservations, fill in where I can with other rides, hopefully, and maybe pick up a couple more reservations, and then see how the rest of the morning unfolds, and probably call it again after that drop off at 6:30. But in the meantime, I'm going to head back into town here, try to get some activity in town, and then I will be back and we'll talk a little bit about Mystro, we'll talk about GigU, and whatever else happens throughout the morning. All right, that'll do it for me. I'll be back here in a little bit. All right, quick update. I got I have 15 minutes before my reservation, but it's going to take me 3 minutes to get there, as you can see on the screen. So I figured we would take this opportunity to talk a little bit about Mystro and GigU, and really the differences and the advantages of one over the other. And I've talked about the big one is the possibility of being kicked off the platforms for using Mystro versus GigU, and that is mainly because with Mystro, you're taking the chance because you're using your logon credentials to get into Uber and Lyft through Mystro, where GigU, you do not have to do that. So as I've said before, the safer choice if you have concerns about getting kicked off is to go with GigU, because it sits on top. It just reads the screen. It's not going into, basically you're not logging into Uber or Lyft through GigU. And that's one of the huge advantages of GigU, is the fact that you're not having to use your credentials. So it's the safer of the two choices. Beyond that, they both show dollar per mile, dollar per hour, the user rating. But really, after that point, Mystro kind of takes over with other filters that you can use, geographic filters, you kind of name it. It gives you all kinds of opportunities to filter out the rides that you don't want and filter in the rides that you do want. And that's a huge advantage that Mystro has. I mean, it is a good tool. Last night, as you saw in the video, it worked great. So they've made some pretty good advances as far as getting it to work and being stable, which was one of the issues that I had with it. It was just very unstable. It was glitching out and just not working as it should have, but they've been working on it. So kudos to the guys at Mystro for getting that figured out. But really the benefit of one or the other is really what you're looking for. If you're looking for a tool that's just going to give you quick information, which is going to be your dollar per hour, dollar per mile, I mean, GigU is an easy choice when it comes to that. Plus, again, you don't run the risk of being deactivated off the platforms. But Mystro kind of gives you way more control over what it is that you're looking for, whether that's the geographic restrictions, the basic 3, plus others. You know, you can filter out multiple stops. You can have it not look at trip radar rides for you. So it can filter all that stuff out for you and kind of get you down to the things that you want specifically, which I think is a great advantage of Mystro. The customization that Mystro provides far exceeds what GigU does. And that's mainly because the limitations of GigU is based on the fact that it doesn't log in through your credentials to get that information from the driver apps directly. In other words, Mystro's in between you and the driver app, and that information is flowing through Mystro to you, where GigU is just reading what's on the screen. And that's the biggest difference there as far as what one over the other is, how they're getting the information. So, you know, again, simple tool, GigU, easy to use. I highly recommend GigU. Been using it a lot, and it works out great. Mystro can be a little bit more of a challenge at times, just because I think that the apps are aware of it enough that they try to close out the loopholes that allow, you know, Mystro to get the information that it needs. They try to close those doors so it can't get it. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game that they're always playing right now to try to get that information through and into the app for you. So anyway, I would recommend both. Probably would lean on GigU more so than I would Mystro, just for the stability and simplicity of it. But Mystro is a good tool. All right, I'm gonna hang out here for a couple more minutes, and because I don't need to get to Alex 15 minutes early. That's ridiculous. And I'm going to take him to the airport, and after that I got the other airport rides in between there, and I'm probably going to have to do, well, I'm at 50% right now on the battery, so I might be okay for a while. But we'll see. I may have to do a charge in here just to kind of top off so I can finish out my morning. But so far so good. I did have a puker. He made me stop. He got out of the car, thankfully, and took care of his business and then came back, so I was appreciative of that. Again, short little ride. The guy couldn't last a mile, but you know, at least it wasn't in the car. But yeah, it's been pretty decent so far today. The morning's been good, so we'll see how this plays out with the rest of the reservations, and hopefully I'll pick up some stuff in between, and we'll go from there. All right, I'll be back in a little bit with with either an update or a wrap up, but that's gonna be it for right now. So I'll be back. Alrighty, that's a wrap on a very early Sunday morning. Let's see. Just finished my last reservation at the airport, and that's going to do it. I'm gonna kick out of here and head home and call it a day. So let's look at numbers real quick. No. Yep. All right. So 65 and 88. What is that? I'll put the total up on the top here. But not a bad day. Not a bad morning. I'll take it. You know, it was busy earlier between 12:30 and 2 o'clock in the morning. It was pretty busy. And then, of course, the reservations kind of suck up a lot of time, but they're all good rides, and you know, that's kind of what I'm after. Especially this early, because after 2:30, it pretty much slows down to nothing. You get some stragglers from down in the clubs and stuff like that, but you know, it's slow, so the reservations help fill that time, which is ideal. But anyway, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Appreciate all the new subscribers. And most importantly, if you have any questions or really any questions about Mystro or GigU, please leave it down below and let me know. And again, I'll do another video. One of the videos coming up here in the future will be another video focused on Mystro when I'm like working in town and I'm working both apps at the same time, so you can kind of see how it works and everything. We'll try to capture some of that. And most importantly, just to make sure that it's continuing to be stable, which is the most important thing. And then of course GigU, GigU always works pretty much. I've never had really any issues. The only thing with GigU that I find is sometimes it's a little bit of a lag on reading the screen, and it doesn't pop up right away, and it's hit or miss on that sometimes. Sometimes it does it a lot, sometimes it doesn't happen for days, and then it'll do it. So it really kind of depends. But overall, again, as I said earlier, simple, safe GigU, much more ability to filter and kind of narrow down what it is that you want to accept. Mystro is the way to go between the two. So anyway, thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Thanks to all the new subscribers. Thank you for all the comments and the feedback. Much appreciated. And I will see you in the next video, which will be next week sometime. So until then, thanks for watching.